Hey everyone, it's Baze Junkie transmitting from Hamburg, Germany, back with a new video, and we're back with a new Vinyl Talk video because in one of the previous Vinyl Talk videos I mentioned Abe Duque, I guess, a New York-based producer who's been like on the scene as well for a long time, I guess for a minimum of 30 years, probably even longer. And I think I mentioned him in that video I did about EOX, the Acid New York EP, a project by Taylor Duque and Dietrich Schönemann, and this was like an acid record, also from New York, I guess. And Hollis House, I think, as a label, is somewhat connected to Tension Records, and Tension Records was also connected to or run by Abe Duque. So we got another Abe Duque record to come, or an Abe Duque related record, and this is a special one. Came in this pretty yellow thing here, my handwriting on there, released in the mid-2000s, I guess 2004 it was, and probably you can see already why this is special, because this record has no paper label on it, and you can see right through. And what is even more special is that the information on the record, I hope this works with the glare and with the camera, is etched into the record from both sides, so you can read whatever is on there if you look at it closely. There's even an email address, the email address for Abe Duque, which is not working anymore, I guess, because it was an old AOL address, and there is some hidden messages in there as well, I guess. Oh, this is just the pressing plant information, which was manufactured at Europa Disc in New York. And this is also just the pressing information on the other side. So a lot of interesting things, and yeah, a lot of interesting etching going on in here. And the special thing about the Abe Duque Records label was definitely that they had no paper labels on any of the records released. So this was the first pressing run of What Happened. And the second one came in heavy, thick black vinyl, also with etchings and stuff. And what we got here are 3 seductive club bangers, which I've played a lot when I was DJing more, and still, I guess. On the A side, we got 2, and I gotta look the titles up because I forgot to open Discogs properly before I did the video, so I had to open the tab. The first one is a long one on A1. This is called Disco Lights, which is a very deep, seductive, rhythm-based, pumping, late-night house tune, I guess. All 3 tracks have like vocals laid out by Blake Baxter, which is not credited on the record, but which is also a famous vocalist in like US techno, has been around forever, and also producer as well. So this is more, it's not properly sung, but it's like more like a spoken word thing, storytelling atop of the track. And yeah, Disco Lights is of course like long extended 7 minutes, deep house, but not deep house, but very deep late night house music, bordering tech house kind of. A track you can roll out forever at like 4 a.m., 4:30 a.m. and people will love it for sure. The second one on B1 is Acid, which is basically what the name suggests, so classic acid house business, rolling like with a little bit of a 303 going on, but not like to the max. So it's like still very groove oriented, very tracky, very Chicago-y in a way, even though it was like produced in New York. And the last one, which is basically the main title and also the most famous one, is called What Happened. There was also a remix 12-inch for this as well, which with the vocals more present. And What Happened is basically also a very tracky, deep, pumping house tune with a bit of acid influences, where the vocals reminisce about the early scene and what happened to the underground approach, the approach where everyone was equal, where there were no super clubs and stuff. And there was, the vocalist mentions a lot of interesting clubs in Germany as well. So the Ultraschall is mentioned, which was famous in Munich. The Tresor, I guess, in Berlin. I think it's EVAC. Is it EVAC in Berlin as well, which is mentioned? And another, like the box, the music box in Chicago, and a lot of other things. And yeah, the question is always repeating. So what happened to the scene? What happened is a catchphrase, and what happened to all the vibes that basically were there when the electronic music scene, the house and dance music scene emerged, and then suddenly over time vanished after the whole thing became big in the late 90s, mid 90s, and things were more commercialized, more professionalized and stuff. So, and this is those are like all-time classics, I guess. The What Happened remix 12, which I also own, which is more like with the vocals more present and more distinct and more audible. In the original track on the B2, they are kind of muffled, hidden like deep within the mix, more subtle, but definitely an interesting stuff, and you can play those tunes forever, I guess. I remember sets like extended 3 or 4 hour sets where I played every single tune of these three in 3 hours, which I usually don't do, like don't play like 2 tracks from one record, but they worked well and will still do. And I guess the What Happened tune, I don't know if it's the remixes or these 3 have been repressed recently, I guess, and yeah, that's proper good DJ fodder, I guess, and one of those records, probably one of the best acid house records that has come out in 2004, maybe in the whole era of like 2000 to 2010. So this is one of the seminal acid meets house tracks, club tracks of this era for me, and this goes for a lot of records on the Ape Duque Records label, which are not all that kind of iconic, but still like super solid and probably era defining in an age where minimal techno and tech house of the German kind like dominated the scene. Certainly, like think Compact, think Upon You, think Watergate, or whatever came out in that era. A lot of these minimal labels, and also the minimal stuff from Detroit, not to forget, like Minus, Richie Houghton, all that stuff, which was super popular at that time, and like proper techno or proper house was not frowned upon, but like way moved to the background of the scene and moved out of focus. And then came this track, which was like an era defining tune for me and for many others, I guess. So, and the special thing is a thing you don't see, as I've said, no paper labels on here, the etching, which was also very unusual at that time, and I think you need a special kind of pressing plant or a special kind of vinyl press which can handle like taking the vinyl and the raw vinyl like puck thing that is like, or the cake, and handling that and pressing down without the vinyl sticking to the machine when it moves up again. So not every machine can do this, and probably this is why those records are rare, but it also is pretty. That's another thing, and its color is very suitable for acid as a music in general. So this is Ape Duque Records 07, Ape Duque, What Happens. Do you know the track? Or what happened, not what happens. Do you know the track? Do you know the record? Do you know other records not from this label that don't have any paper labels on that, or in the middle? Let me know about that, and I'm gonna link the other video where I mentioned this one in the end card, of course. EOX, Taylor Swift, Taylor Dupree, and Sri Schönemann on Hollis House, the Acid New York EP, a video properly related to this one. So Bass Junkie out for now. Thank you for watching. Leave me a comment, leave me a like, you know the score. See you in the next one.